Hello, gentle viewers. This is Avguardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Tampa Bay Rays. In our previous episode, our season went rather poorly, but we have a semi-rich draft ahead of us, in which we picked 7th. Now, I wanted to thank everybody who was kind enough to comment about what we should do about the issue of fielding for the historical rookies. And a couple people said we should just edit it. And that's a fair sentiment. But then we have the issue of the AI, which is that the AI players won't be getting proper defensive settings either. And I don't really feel like necessarily doing that. Is there an easier way to do this? Rescouting isn't a recalc. I'm trying to remember how to actually trigger a recalc. That's all pictures. That's lovely, I guess. Like, there's a way to do it. Like, there's a way to get players recalculated, but I guess that's... Oh, here it is. Yeah. You can't do it manually. You have to do it every year. So... I can try changing this to... see if that works, and then do a rescout and see if that changes anything. That's under... run full rescouting. Just making sure I did everything that I'm supposed to do. Alright, did that change anything? It probably didn't, but let's check. It did fix things a little bit. It actually did help. So that's great. That's great news. I love to see it. Yeah, some of them still don't look amazing. We'll figure that out though. It's the issue is probably for players that don't have 3 years of major league experience. They're always going to look worse than they actually are. But we'll figure something out. Okay. So let us, before we do anything else, let's have a peek at our coaches. Coaches are fine. I have no money because of Alex Rodriguez. Oh, I haven't messed with any of this stuff yet. Right, let's start taking care of that then. Kyle Gibson is reasonably talented, and I feel pretty confident that keeping him for $1.8 million is entirely reasonable. I have no problem with that. Jimmy Nelson is fine as a reliever. I don't know that I trust him as a starter. Michael Gibbons gets non-tendered. I can give Jimmy Nelson a one. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. That's fine. Chris Carter. Did I get you for a reason? Like, was it looking for a long-term first baseman, or is this literally just... No, that was a salary dump, and that was the best I could get. Okay. So we're going to trade Chris Carter if we can. $2 million for Pedro Alvarez seems relatively feasible. Lucas Duda's fine, but he hasn't been that good in the limited opportunities he's gotten. I think we're just going to non-tender him too. He is not very tender. So Ken Giles. Ken Giles is an amazing pitcher. He also wants $7 million. If any closer were $7 million, it's probably Ken Giles at this point. But I definitely can't give him more than his arbitration amount, which I think I'm fine with. For now. And then we're going to trade Chris Carter. And let me be painfully obvious here. I'm literally just looking to save on salary. That's it. If I get any offer whatsoever, I will take it. Because, are you being a bitch? You don't have a no trade clause, so you're just... Let's look at all these. I think everyone realizes he's the perfect non-tender candidate, so they're just not going to trade for him, which is fine. I'm going to non-tender him, though. And that's going to save me some money. Jimmy Nelson can walk too. I gotta scrape up every penny I can, and then trade Alex Rodriguez. I'm gonna wait until free agency starts for that though. People sign extensions and the crowd goes wild. You would give me Pedro Severino, who's literally terrible. No. I don't think so. Ooh, somebody got a gold glove. Who was it? Jason Hayward. Very nice. Very nice indeed. What if I just gave you an extension? What if? Rob Whalen has a lot of future potential. I don't think he's much of a starter, but he's actually really strong in a lot of ways. That's hilarious. He used to be my guy. That's funny. That's funny. Like, Kyle Gibson fills a very specific role on this team. I don't know that I can let him go, but I will talk about this. What if I remove Kyle Gibson? Pardon me. One second. I am very loud today. I apologize. Trading Gallardo is kind of tempting. If I'm gonna be honest with you, he's kind of real tempting. It's not that Gallardo is a bad pitcher, it's that he's costing $15 million. And I need to start cutting payroll as fast as possible. If we're going to have any realistic chance of competing, I need to start shedding salary, and I need to start shedding it fast. So I think trading Gallardo does make some sense. Here we go. So, can we get rid of Alex Rodriguez? Oh, we've already have gotten rid of Alex Rodriguez. Wait, then who the fuck is costing me all this money? Like, where is this giant chunk of salary going? Yes, Pujols and Posey and Lackey and Hayward and Lynn and Masterson. Okay. If I could trade Lance Lynn, I think I would at this point. Again, just trying to get salaries off the books for right now. What could I get for Lance Lynn? I mean, I'd like somebody who actually has a potential major league future, even if it's not an incredibly bright one. Zealous Wheeler is a fun name, but he's not very good. Alex Dickerson wouldn't be terrible as like an off-ball DH. Yeah, I can make this happen. I still don't have any actual money to actually do anything, which is really funny. I mean, it's not that funny, but it's kind of funny. Let's go up to Hall of Fame voting. I realize, by the way, it is not lost on me that I just traded 2 starters, and I haven't really replaced them with anybody. That is an indisputable fact, and we're going to have to get creative with how we deal with pitching. Part of me kind of doesn't mind if we just let things bottom out, though. Okay. I have a little bit of money for extension. I actually have quite a lot for extensions, and then I have very little for everything else. Okay. So where do we go from here, my friends? I still need money if we're going to make even medium-term upgrades. Or we have to use the draft. And I think the draft is going to have to be how this happens. Because I've got a pretty substantial draft budget. If we spend it correctly, we can make some improvements. We do need a new DH. That very well might just come from Dickerson, Alex Dickerson. I've certainly heard worse ideas. We have Johan Camargo as a possible choice to do baseball things. I need outfielders, and I don't have any in the high minors. Like, I have Alan Cordova, which is, I guess, a choice. It's going to have to be either the draft or the Rule 5. That's going to have to be how we acquire our new players. Buster Posey and Outpros have to do an awful lot of lifting for us to even have a chance at the playoffs, in my opinion. Trading Pujols seems quite smart. And he wouldn't mind being traded. And this will give me the flexibility I need to at least fill out a roster. And let's be clear. Albert Pujols playing at an MVP level probably gets us back to the playoffs. But only if he's playing at an MVP level. And I quite frankly don't think we have that. I don't think we have the necessary pieces to make that a viable strategy. So I think we say, thank you, Mr. Pujols, for your beloved service with us. Let's see what we can acquire in exchange. I am getting some really shitty deals here. I mean, Brock Holt isn't the worst thing in the world. Like, to be incredibly clear, I'm trying to save money. And so, beggars kind of can't be choosers to that great an extent. Let's do it. Alright, so now I have a whole lot of money to spend on players. Now, the most important thing to do is to be smart about how we spend this money. Because we got some holes to fill. We have to get a DH and a first baseman. We need 2 starting pitchers. And we need at least 1 or 2 more outfielders. So we have some work to do here. Let's begin that hard work. I'm only going to be looking at people based on the amount of money they require at this point. I don't want to sign anybody who costs more than $10 million if I'm not sure they're going to be a reasonably good player for a reasonably long amount of time. $8 million for Dexter Fowler feels a little excessive. Wait, Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish is a fucking starter, my dudes. I will happily give you a spot in the starting rotation, Mr. Darvish, if you're willing to agree. Okay. Hey, Joey Votto would be a pretty nice piece to this club. Let us offer him some cash to come play for us. This is a really cheap contract. I am here for this. So we bring in Joey Votto. That's 2 positions filled. I still need a backup outfielder and a DH. So let's shift to and another starter. Hey, Sonny Gray needs a job. Sonny Gray can pitch for Tampa. Done. That should be fine for right now. Let's look at outfielders. Peter Burgos is a really good choice. I'm looking mostly for defense. I would like at least a nominal amount of offense from my backup, so let's offer Curtis Granderson. I'm not guaranteeing the starting lineup, though. But I am guaranteeing you money. And let's round it out with who is the best overall hitter. Who might be in my price range. Like, I don't care what position they play, which is our big advantage. William Opena's not going to happen. I'm not stupid. You've already got an offer into Joey Votto. What does Josh Hamilton want? Josh Hamilton wants a lot of money. That's not going to be a thing, my friend. Hank Blaylock wants a pretty princely sum too. I don't know that I'm prepared to do that. But maybe I am. Let's wait till after the draft at this point. I think I've got some good offers into players that I think can really contribute. So let's do that for the moment, and then we'll see how the draft shakes out. Because I'm expecting to get at least one premium player out of it. We got to be patient. Our window will open again. And it might even open this year if we get lucky in the draft, but... everybody seems pretty happy except for you, Darvish. I will pay you. I'll tell you what. Give me a 3-year contract. And I will give you that much money. Oh, he only wants a 1-year deal. Okay. I'm not going to make you the closer, though. Starting rotation. I will happily engage in a bit of salary stuff. Wait, what happened here? Oh, here you go. Okay, Sonny Gray is added on. I'd like to actually sign him for a bit longer if I could. But that's something to think about later on. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... I'll just adjust mine. I know it seems kind of short-sighted, but... Okay, I will be completely honest with you. As much as we need hitting, if I could get Shane Bieber, I would take Shane Bieber. I don't think he's going to fall to me, though. I would not object to Rafael Devers if I mess with his defense a bit. Devers has seemed like a pretty fine choice. Let's see who's left when I draft. Okay. So Devers is definitely on the table. So is Shohei Ohtani, though. I mean, if all I care about is offensive prowess, and I put him in, like, DH, it's hard to argue with Shohei Ohtani, right? Yeah, done. I mean, there's no reason not to pick him. He's so good offensively, and he's under slot that I can hopefully grab some decent players later in the draft. Alright, are there any starting pitchers left? Or are they all gone? There's Dakota Hudson and Tyler Beede. Sure, Dakota Hudson isn't the sexiest of all picks, but I'll take it. I will happily go for Jose Castillo. That seems pretty reasonable. I'll take Justice Sheffield. And then take whoever you would like, scouting director. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is that I know that Shohei Ohtani could be a starter. I'm not going to make him one unless he just develops that way. Yeah, I don't want to cheat that much. So, knowing who I got, let's go ahead now and get a bit more active in free agency. So, Votto, Darvish, and Granderson are all thinking of signing, which is excellent news. I can probably afford to sign now one of the better players. Not a top line player by any stretch, but one of the better ones. A Tim Lincecum, for example. Like, for a year or two, Lincecum would be a very nice little linchpin for us, and I think that's a smart signing. Damn, son. He's getting offered a lot more money than I'm ready to pay him, though. I could get, like, Nathan Eovaldi. Maybe. Bring in Carl Crawford? Just kidding. I don't want Carl Crawford. I wouldn't mind a really good starting center fielder if there were one to be had. Like, look, Adam Jones, I know wasn't the sexiest player of all, but he's actually better than Michael Reed. Because Michael Reed ain't shit. Like, yes, Michael Reed is... he's just nothing. He's a very decent backup outfielder, but an Adam Jones would make us a better team. You know what? A 4-year deal seems reasonable to me. There we go. Oh, to be clear, Shohei Ohtani, you are spending 0 days in the minor leagues. You're going right to the big leagues. All players. Nah, there's nobody here that really does it for me. I mean, it's interesting too that Johan Santana is so terrible. But I'm not going to. Yeah, I think we're alright. Complete the draft. Alright, so first things first. Shohei Ohtani, get on the Major League roster. Same with Castillo, same with Waylon. And then we'll see how people sign on. Mr. Ohtani, you're here principally to be a DH. If you pitch every once in a while, fantastic. But you're here to DH. That is the role you've been selected to fill. Oh, I did not vote in the Hall of Fame. We got Votto and Granderson. I feel pretty good about both of those signings. What else are we going to do? We're going to vote for the Hall of Fame. This version of Bobby Abreu should have a relatively easy path to the Hall of Fame, I'm hoping. Excuse me. Sure, I'll go for Jason Giambi. Why not? Rusty Greer. Man, Ken Griffey can't catch a break. He can't even get 10% of the vote. He might fall off the ballot entirely. Which, I mean, in this timeline, that actually seems somewhat realistic. He just wasn't that phenomenal. Gonna vote for Chucky J. Not for Paul Konerko, though, at least not in this timeline. Yes to Ramon Martinez. Yes to Kenny Lofton, sure. Kevin Millwood seems like a pretty good first timer. The Moose. The Nabholz. Tim Salmon, maybe. I'm willing to give that a try. I will vote for John Valentin and John Smiley. And Bernard Williams, of course. And submit. Neat. Right. Abreu and Salmon both made it. And Griffey did indeed fall off the ballot. Unfortunate, but I think justified based on how things are here. No thanks. Excellent. I'm here for this, for Mr. Darvish to be a decent pitcher. I'm going to give him a 2-year deal. Just because he's got so much stuff that even if he doesn't work out as a starter, he's an excellent reliever. This is like a no-brainer to me. See, here's the thing. Both the players you're offering to me suck. We got Adam Jones. Lovely stuff. I like this. I literally did nothing but ask him to stay. And he's like, man, these are some hard negotiations. Like, all right, bro. If that's how you want to play this, I'm okay with that. We'll simulate right the way up to the beginning of spring training. I gotta say, fucking Albert Pujols in Colorado is gonna be ridiculous. Well, that's not what we're here about. We're here to become a top quality team from top to bottom. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Dakota Hudson. James Sheffield. John Lackey's deal is looking like not an ideal one either, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. You're benching Ohtani against lefties. I mean, I don't really care, but that's kind of a weird thing, but sure. Wait, who did you take out of right field? What have you done with Trey Mancini? Interesting. You've basically benched him. Oh, I see what you did. You shifted Hayward from right to left, which he's never played before, which is interesting. I'd rather play Granderson in left. But I don't mind him learning left field in spring training. It just makes him a more valuable and well-rounded player, in my opinion. Cool beans. Let us advance forwards. It's also not a deal that I would do. Don't make dumb offers, guys. They're like, what if I gave you a single magic beam? Would you give me your entire team? J.D. Davis. No, thank you. No, 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 no. Damn it. I think we made an error. What's going to happen now is everyone's going to get a day service time because maybe they fixed this bug. It used to be a big issue, though, in OOTP. Nothing crazy happened there. Top 100 prospects. Really? Shohei Ohtani doesn't earn you a top 10 rating. The fuck is wrong with you guys? He's rated the 43rd pitcher. I mean, he's not a pitcher though. He's a hitter. And a real good one too. Okay. So step one, we got to get down to 25 players. Green, Ellington, Hudson, and James can all go to the minors. Where does that leave me in pictures? I saw 15 pictures. I want to get down to 12. So Sheffield. Sparkman and Mr. Ramos. Okay, one position player's got to go. Probably Austin Jackson. All right. So pitching, this is fine. Let's fix the lineups, though. Let's fix them real good. Okay. So we're going to start with Jason Hayward leading off. I know Johan Camargo isn't very good at third base, but he's a good enough player that I want him to play third base. And I think he makes a really good number 2 hitter, so that's what we're going to do. Batting third is Posey. Batting cleanup is Mr. Ohtani. As a designated hitter, of course. Jason Hayward shifts back to right. But I guess he's also an amazing left fielder, so I suppose if we really want to play it that way, I don't necessarily object. I'd rather have Mancini in the lineup than Granderson, though. Or would I? No, Granderson can be given a chance. I'm not going to argue with that. So, batting fifth is going to be Joey Votto. Then Enrique Hernandez bats sixth. Granderson 7th. Adam Jones 8th. And Mr. Lynn bats 9th and plays shortstop. Generate me a depth chart if you please. I know Pedro Alvarez is much better defensively, but Camargo is a much better hitter, period. So once a week seems sufficient for me. I don't mind Hayward and Mancini getting some reps here and there. Cool. And I'm going to copy this shit over, and we're just going to leave Ohtani in every day as the cleanup guy. Like, I know, is Ohtani as good at left-handed pitching? Not quite. But he's still pretty decent, and he's not going to get better if I bury him. So, there is that. Okay, I think we are ready to go and play this season and see what on earth Shohei Ohtani can accomplish in his first season in the majors. I can't either, Mr. Reyes. Glover seems like he sucks. Pretty hard. Austin Hayes. I mean, he's not the worst. It's like Chad Green or Ellen Cordoba are all that good. So I think I will allow this trade. Like, I'm not convinced Austin Hayes is anything special either, but he's at least has a little bit of upside to him. Player development. Some good stuff here. Dakota Hudson is rapidly improving to the point where they might be a reasonable pitcher. Ken Giles had a scoreless April. Very exciting news. Very, very exciting. 5 weeks for Alvarez is unfortunate. I don't have a ton of depth in the infield. What's on the free agent market? I want somebody who's reasonably competent in the infield. I'm not looking for genius-ness. Martin Prado only plays third. David Wright only plays third. I guess Josh Rutledge does make some sense. He can play all the defensive positions we might need him in. And let's sim a week. And then let's redo depth charts, please. Oh, I also never let you... sorry, dude. Do that, please. And that. And generate me a new depth chart. Like, I know Rutledge is actually a better shortstop than Lynn by a little bit, but I don't want to rush it. Or is he that much better? No, Lynn is comparable defensively. He's comparable. Let's continue. Proceed. You're hitting fifth. I can't put you more in the middle of the lineup than that. I don't get it. Like, I could make you the cleanup hitter, but I frankly don't see why I would at the moment. Anyway. I don't want Victor Caratini, though. He kind of sucks. I just think that he's improving as a pitcher, which is very cool, but that's kind of not what you're here for. You're here to hit baseballs real good. That's what I got you for. Anyways, so I need to step away for just a moment. I will return. All right. So, how are things going this season? In some ways, quite well. In other ways, not so good. Let's talk about the good stuff. Shohei Ohtani is pitching at a fairly high level, but that's not what he's here for, right? He's here to hit. And so far, he's okay. He isn't brilliant. I think he definitely has some room to grow offensively. But I think he's going to be an impact player for a very long time. With the 7th overall pick, that's kind of what you're looking for. Jason Hayward is back to his old self in a lot of ways. He's getting on base at a very high clip. He's hitting for contact. Some nice doubles and home run power. He's what we're paying him for. Johan Camargo took his excellent rookie season as building upon it. Although he's not the best defensively, he's not the worst either. Buster Posey, of course, is a fantastic player. It's a little odd he's not hitting home runs this year, though. I'm assuming this is just a blip, and that he'll start doing more damage when the opportunity presents itself. But everything else about him is exactly what we're wanting from a premium player. Joey Votto is producing reasonably well. I think there's more to him. I think there's definitely a chance that he could improve some of his raw talent level, but on the whole, I'm fairly pleased with what he's bringing to the table. Enrique Hernandez continues to be an interesting problem. It's not that he isn't a good player that doesn't play relatively good defense. It's his offensive profile is always going to run into issues because he's so heavily focused on hitting homers and drawing walks. There's nothing wrong with hitting homers and drawing walks, except it's out of those things less than an ideal rate. That can be an issue. Curtis Granderson has brought the pop and he's stabilized right field, and I really appreciate what he is bringing to the club. No issues there. Adam Jones has already exceeded his last year's WAR, and he's only played 50 games. The defense seems pretty good. Now we get to the biggest issue on this club. It's Lynn. Lynn is maybe an ideal secondary player. He's not a good shortstop. And we're actually suffering quite badly in terms of zone rating. And if we take a look at the fielding statistics, our worst defender is our shortstop. Like, I don't mind Joey Votto being a little bit worse. That's whatever. I don't really care about that. I could just play Josh Rutledge. There's something to be said for that as a solution. Lin is too valuable defensively to give up on entirely, but he's also not good enough to play every day in the majors. He just isn't. But Rutledge isn't any better. And so if we want a long-term solution, we have to do some exploration. So let us do precisely that. Where are we going to get a better shortstop? And to be clear, I'll take a better defensive shortstop, I'll take a better offensive shortstop, but I need a better shortstop of some variety. If we look at the trading block, we sort by shortstops. This is worse than Andrelton Simmons being merely okay. So J.J. Hardy would represent a significant improvement defensively. And it's only a 1-year contract. So acquiring J.J. Hardy to play shortstop isn't the worst idea I could come up with. He's better than Lin in every conceivable way. So I think this is what we go after. He wants either Lin or Rutledge. I will happily give you Rutledge for Hardy. I wonder if he would eat some or any of his salary. Perfect. So then we instantly take Mr. Hardy, we put him in the lineup, and we just drop him in lickety-split. Regenerate this, please. Oh, no. You can do what you want. There you go. So Lin gets benched. I think that's very bright. And we do a new depth chart. And all of a sudden, we're a much deeper team. Just like that. Because while Lin is overexposed as as a starter, as a utility guy, he's actually really good. So I think he offers quite a bit more flexibility. I'm very happy about that. And now we can proceed with the season. Let's talk about the pitching staff, though. Mr. Sonny Gray is eligible for arbitration. I'm just going to let him get his arbitration. Masterson has pitched extremely well. I really have very few complaints other than his relatively low strikeout rate. But I just care that he's playing well, and he is. Yu Darvish is definitely striking fools out. I wish the walk rate would drop a bit, but I'm willing to sacrifice some walks to get some strikeouts. I think that's entirely reasonable. I'm pretty happy about that. Sonny Gray is really participating in an excellent way. He's been a real useful pitcher. I'm a little concerned with the WAR being so low on a lot of these pitchers. It's not because they're pitching poorly. It's because WAR really likes strikeouts, and it likes avoiding home runs. And so far, our pitchers aren't doing either of those things very well. Kyle Gibson is fine. I mean, he's not the best pitcher. He's not the worst pitcher. He's fine. And then John Lackey at the back end of the rotation is performing at a reasonably good level, but the only reason I'm not trading him is because I don't think I can. I don't think anybody with a sense of sanity would ever trade for him. I'll try it. And he's probably also got 10-5 rights, right? Like, does nobody want him? Or, like, let's just pick this at random here. Okay, they could trade for him, they just choose not to. Because they don't like him. That's fair. That is extremely fair. Alright, let us go ahead and play another month of the season and see where that takes us. Okay, Pedro Alvarez is somebody I think I want to trade because... Hey, Word. You dumbass. Okay. Pedro Alvarez is what he is, and what he is still fairly useful. So I don't think I'm going to trade him yet. Oh, you're out of options, so maybe I do have to trade you. I think I will. Because if I can get a starting pitcher so I can eventually replace John Lackey, that would be amazing. Erasmo Ramirez and Adrian Sampson. What if I just look at any player? Because both those guys kind of suck. They kind of really suck. I'll trade for Erasmo Ramirez just because I can, but yeah, there we go. Alright, next task. Who do we want to keep? Whose contract is coming up? Bringing back Curtis Granderson does make a certain amount of sense. He's having the best year of his recent career. How much does Mr. Granderson want to give us one more year? He wants a substantial raise. I don't think I'm prepared to give him that. I think I could probably get a better right fielder if I played my cards right. JJ Hardy wants very little money to stay with us. And I like his glove, which I think is going to age quite well, so I think we will go ahead and make this happen. I like the flexibility that gives us. Let's advance some time. Excellent. I wouldn't mind of giving you an extension. I just can't afford it in a very realistic sense, given what you're asking for. Lucas Sims has a ton of potential, but I don't think he's a good fit for the club. Now when giving up Austin Hayes, I think does have a little bit of upside to him. I think I'm going to have to decline that offer. It's appreciated, but I have to decline the honor. Like, I don't really want to bottom out, but I also want to get a pretty good pick in the next draft because I think that's going to help us continue to build at a decent level. Nothing too impressive happening here. Any big differences here? JJ Hardy hasn't done a ton, but that's okay. I don't mind if he isn't an elite hitter. Shohei Ohtani hitting more homers makes you feel good, though. Makes you feel real good. We need to be rid of John Lackey at this point. But nobody's going to take him. I'm going to put him on the block and see if anybody offers me anything once we get closer to the trading deadline. Happy with the record. Okay, so let's talk coaches. We're not bringing back Sakura. Sakura is a giant asshole, and nobody seems to like him. So Sakura is going to be leaving us. How's Brian Schaus getting along? He's getting along reasonably well. He's also a pretty good coach, so I'm more than willing to give him an extension. I'm going to let my trainer and my hitting coach both walk. Tom Gorman is a reasonably talented coach. Let's keep him around, please. Ron Gant can stick around a bit longer, I suppose. And let's improve things immediately. Do we like easygoing? We don't hate easygoing. Rocco Santana's not too happy about it. But just getting rid of Sakura, who is very, very salty all the time, is going to help a lot. So let's fire him. I'm going to fire him right now. I'm going to promote Henry Rodriguez to being our Major League hitting coach. And then, who is my best hitting coach? Fernando Vina's not terrible. Neither is Ron Gant. I think we're just going to promote across the board for right now. I'll offer Ron Howell the job. Ohtani still isn't in the top 10. Disgusting. The other one to get rid of is Mike Ratchka. He's the other one who seems really salty about things. I'll worry about that later, though. I'm absolutely not trading Sonny Gray. What if I offered you instead John Lackey? Think about it. You could have John Lackey. You decline, eh? Okay. Steve Johnson is a really good pitcher. Hammer Candelario has a bit of promise. But I don't want to trade Trey Mancini. Or do I? Do I want to trade Trey Mancini to get Steve Johnson and Hammer Candelario? I don't think so. Who made the All-Star game from the Tampa Bay Rays, sorry. It's literally just Buster Posey, isn't it? Like, that seems reasonably fair. I suppose I can't argue with that. I'm a little surprised that, say, Frankie Montas isn't being replaced by Ken Giles. I think Adam Jones or Johan Camargo would have a fair argument, too. But I think the more egregious submission is Ken Giles over Frankie Montas, except that's Seattle's only person, so I guess that's fair. Um, Albert Pujols is indeed having a bit of a career renaissance with Colorado. He's on pace at 27 home runs, you guys. 27 home runs. Wild. Okay, cool. Wait, Matt Olson and Kyle Tucker are just languishing in the minors? Intriguing. Absolutely not. No, here, stop trying to get Sonny Gray. He is on my untouchable list. But you know who isn't untouchable? John Lackey. Imagine what you could accomplish with John Lackey in your organization. You wouldn't Lackey for much. Get it? Yeah. If I have 50% of his contract, just out of curiosity. Okay. I'm at least getting offers now. What if I start stepping that back to, say, 25%? I'm not taking an even worse player in exchange. I'll take Anthony Bass. That seems fine. Sure. And then who here is most ready to be a starting pitcher? Do any of you have decent stamina? Rob Walden or Jose Castillo could both potentially... Oh no. I'm looking at hold, not stamina. Let me go ahead and instantly just get Tony Zeech off the ground. And let's call up Dakota Hudson to be a starting pitcher. That seems good. Let's go with that. Is there a market for Curtis Granderson, I wonder? Because I'm not bringing him back. He wants too much money to come back, and I'm not at all convinced that he is worth bringing back. And I could then put Trey Mancini in the regular lineup. That might be interesting. Let's see here. I could get Keon Broxton back. What a deal. No. I just don't think it's worth it. None of these guys really strike me as they're actually pretty good players that just need a playing time, which is kind of my favorite sort of deal. I could trade for Tyler White just to get rid of Granderson, but if I'm trading Granderson, I want something decent in return. You're a little short on pitching talent, Phil Klein. Get it? Get it? Sean O'Malley is nothing special. Angel Miranda isn't the worst. He's not the best either, but he isn't the worst. But I'm probably just going to keep him for the rest of the year and let him walk in free agency. Is anyone going to want to trade for? I don't think so. Unless they traded like Enrique Hernandez. He's not making that much money, and he is at least close to hitting a league average, so maybe we're fine with him. I could sure use a bit more contributions, though, from the Shohei Ohtanis of the world. Really think he'll top out at 14 homers? That seems kind of low. Alright, guys, let us proceed into the future. Dakota Hudson throwing even harder and getting a new pitch the moment he comes to the majors. I like that. That's fine. Alex Dickerson can handle first while you're injured. Fucker, you're literally hitting fifth. That is the middle of the lineup. Stop it. Just stop talking. I might get fired. I hope I don't get fired because I think we're really putting this team in a really good position to be an elite team. But I might very well get fired. Because we're hemorrhaging wins horribly. I'm just going to put you on the IL for the rest of the season. We're going to call up Austin Hayes. I guess Mancini plays in right for the rest of the season. Or no, is he any better in left? He's about the same, honestly. Let's put him in left and move Hayward to right. Be right. You're going to be left. And then you're going to do whatever you want to here. And here. Give me a new depth chart, please. I mean, you could not be getting hurt. That would be wonderful. Would you stop injuring my fucking outfielders, game? Like, holy shit. I guess Austin Jackson gets to come back. Here, you know what? Do what you want for the last week of the season. I don't really care. There we go. Hey, if hitting second will make Joey Votto stop complaining, then great. Hey, we went out with the victory. And look, let's be realistic here. We improved from last season. We played better this season than we did the season before. Not by a lot, admittedly. But we did play better. And we still have, what is it, 3 more seasons? Because we started in 1871, right? Yeah. We still have 3 more seasons to try to get back to the promised land. So I'm not... Really? Ronald Acuna didn't sign. Wild. Okay. Man, if I could get Jordan Alvarez, I would sign the ever-loving shit out of him. I don't think that's very likely, though. I don't think... I'm only picking 8th overall, right? And the Dodgers have 2 picks in the top 4. I think the Dodgers are just going to snag whoever they want to. There's too many good players for me not to get somebody good. But I do think we're going to get one of the lesser players. I think that's a fair statement. I'd love a starting pitcher, but the starting pitchers available are like medium to average. Zach Gallen doesn't look a good fit because of his terrible control. So I don't know who we end up with. The Dodgers getting Acuna and Alvarez could happen, and that would be, frankly, disgusting. Fernando Tatis Jr. would be a nice piece. I wouldn't complain about that. Chris Paddock is a pretty decent pitcher. So we've got options. OSA thinks we end up with Vlad Jr. I could see that being a very useful acquisition, although we'd have to find a position for him. That's the tricky part with Vlad Jr. Look at Brian Reynolds. Brian Reynolds would be a nice addition to the club. We've got choices, is what matters. And a Rosarena. Interesting. Okay. We've got choices, though. That's what matters for right now. We can hopefully get ourselves a quality player to maybe get us a starting pitcher in the second round and a good offensive player in the first round. Who knows? Let's see who won the playoff. Let's see who wins the playoffs, and then we'll talk about what went wrong or what didn't go wrong. Amazing. I'm so excited to have them back. And the Pirates won the World Series. Interesting. Cool. Toronto's odor diagnosis revealed. Snort. Interesting. So Jason Hayward just voided his contract. Justin Masterson was actually pretty solid this year and led the team in starts. I'm more than happy to bring him back for one more year. He is a bit upset. We need a new team trainer, one ideally who isn't a giant piece of shit. Hey, Dakota Hudson is now the number 5 prospect in Major League Baseball, which is kind of wild. Let's get a new team trainer. We want somebody ideally that's personable and isn't easygoing. But I'll just honestly take the best trainer and see what their deal is. Sven here seems like a solid choice. I could see this working. But then there's Amari Joyner is actually better across the board. Let's get him. Okay, let's go look at arbitration. Anybody due for a giant raise? Kyle Gibson wants some more money. I think he can have it. We have a ton of money this season, so this could be a good season to maybe make a couple of moves. Sonny Gray wants to come back. I'm happy to have you back, my friend. I know you weren't perfect, but you are still one of our better pitchers, and I'm happy to bring you back for that. Christian Betancourt, you can be offered a new contract. It's fine. Anthony Bass of Bass Pro Shops. Isn't that amazing? I think I'm going to non-tender him. Jonathan Holder still has some upside to him, so I'm not willing to give up on him just yet. Let's give him a new deal. Oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. Ken Giles. And I'll give Trey Mancini a modest raise. I think he's earned it. Jason Hayward's going to get a big old qualifying offer. Because here's the thing. I could bring him back, right? Like, I could keep him. But $20 million a year for 3 wins doesn't seem like a good use of our resources. Like, we now have a lot of money. We can spend intelligently and significantly improve the team. And as much as I like Jason Hayward, and I do like Jason Hayward, I do think that there's a lot of room to make some upgrades to this roster. So let's talk about the batting stats. Buster Posey was team MVP. He had a fantastic season, up and down. You really don't need much more from a catcher than this. Jason Hayward was good. Enrique Hernandez was pretty good. Johan Camargo was good. He built on his rookie season and basically just played more games, which made him more valuable. Shohei Ohtani was worth 2 wins as a DH. I think he needs to be an everyday DH, though, to get the most out of him. We'll talk about that next season. Adam Jones, Joey Votto were both fine. Fine. Pitching. Yu Darvish turned out to be an excellent addition to the club. He was very, very talented. Ken Giles was great once again. Masterson. Really, all of our starters pitched quite well. Sonny Gray was the worst and still gets 183 innings of pretty decent baseball. So, what do we need in order to become an even better club next year? We need at least one big-time hitter in an outfield spot, probably two. We need to see at least one more starter, probably. And we need to fix the defense. The defense is still quite poor. And a lot of that comes from our corner infielders, Joey Votto and Johan Camargo. Okay. Do we trade Joey Votto and then move Camargo to first? That's a possibility. That is definitely a possibility. Shift Camargo over to first, let him play there. He's actually arguably a much better player. Maybe try to get a better third baseman, and then trade Joey Votto. Cool. That's it for today's episode, though. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please remember to like and subscribe. You can comment down below. Until next time, this has been UpGuardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.